Hi, I'm Rebecca Sugar, creator of Cartoon Network's new show, Steven Universe. Steven is the son of a human being in a crystal gem, and he's like the product of fantasy having this love affair with reality. And all the imperfections of real life could be beautiful and fascinating to someone. The characters aren't perfect, and that's what makes them so great.
I think we've grown so much as individuals, especially the cast, together.
I've always felt like Steven and I have had a large amount of parallels going through these arcs of life and like going through all the things we went through together, taking on an unusual amount of responsibility for someone our age.
Working on Steven Universe throughout the years has really helped me to learn to accept myself the way that I am and to love myself.
It is so rewarding because I feel connected with millions of strangers.
We've been able to meet some fans, and being able to hear how this show has touched their lives in a positive way is in turn touching my life as well.
I never thought that we would be able to make a show like this, so it kind of makes me really hopeful for the future.
I really like the positive message that it has, and it's very progressive.
And I love that the show is inclusive and so diverse.
I think the show has had some really healing properties for a lot of people, but also for me.
Cartoons are just my way of expressing myself. I really feel like I'm expressing myself, for better or for worse, on my good days or my bad days, or just however I'm feeling. And I really put it into the show, and I don't really know how to stop. So many of us in this room are marginalized individuals who have fought to tell our stories. Animation has its roots in magic. It's an illusion that works because we want to empathize.
Literally, a third of my life has been spent on Steven Universe, and to see it culminate like this, with this family of people around me, it's been very, very special.
We are in the future.
If you're evil and you're on the rise,
You can count on the four of us taking you down.
Because we're good and evil never beats us. We'll win the fight and then go out for pizzas. Because we are the crystal gems.
Always save the day.
We'll always find a way.
That's why the people
Of this world.
Garnet, Amethyst,
And
And Steven!
Voglio che anche tu sappia finalmente.
When we arrived on Earth, from out beyond your star,
We were amazed to find your beauty and your worth, and we will protect your kind.
And we will protect your Earth.
We will protect your Earth.
and we will protect you.
I will fight for the place where I'm free to live together and exist as me.
I will fight in the name of Earth Quartz and everything that she believed in.
I will fight for the world I was made in. The Earth is everything I've ever known.
I will fight to be everything that everybody wants me to be when I'm grown.
The order against us won't be easy, but we're not gonna do it alone.
we are the crystal gems.
We'll always save the day.
And if you think we can't, we'll always find a way.
That's why the people of this world
Believe in Garnet, Amethyst, and Pearl, and Steven!
So when I think about my favorite episodes of Steven Universe, the first one that will always come to my mind is Lars and the Cool Kids. And the reason why is that Lars and the Cool Kids was the first episode of Steven Universe that I watched that I realized that the show was going to be something incredibly unique and different. The scene that always got me in that episode was the very end when you see the moss turn into roses and the sun comes out. It hit me, I was like, oh man, the roses are Steven's mother. Like it's Steven's mom, and I just felt so emotional about that moment. That's an episode that will always mean a lot to me because it made me realize that Steven Universe was going to be extremely one of a kind, and it was going to be an experience that I was definitely going to have for the rest of my life.
My favorite character in Steven Universe by far is the Yellow Diamond because I relate to her in the fact that even though she's easily angered and frustrated, she really shows a lot of care for those that are close to her, and she was a rock for Blue Diamond when she was going through her situation, and she really held herself together through all the pain that she was going through for so many centuries.
One of my favorite episodes was Back to the Barn. I just love watching the tension between Peridot and Pearl, and Steven just sitting there like, I'm just a little baby dude. Them building the robots was really fun to watch, and all the things that they could do that aligned with their characters. It also, I remember that was the episode where we found out that there are multiples of every gem, and it was like a mind-blowing thing. And then when Peridot punches Pearl, oh my god. It's very fun and a very important episode for both of their characters as we see Pearl become more secure in her identity, and then we see Peridot realizing that some of her homeworld ideals are kind of messed up.
I have chosen to talk about what I consider one of my favorite episodes of the series, the Season 3 episode Bismuth. This episode I love so much because I think it represents everything great about Steven Universe. So the episode starts off with them introducing this new character, Bismuth, to the mix, and right off the bat, she really established herself as a true member of the cast of characters, as someone who genuinely feels like they would be in that world. It was such an amazing character introduction, especially her interaction with Steven partway through the episode, where she actually not only establishes what she saw in his mother, how she was inspired by her, but also inspires him, or teaches him to be his own person, to not try to live up to his mother fully like everyone else said. And I think she was really like the first person to establish that. It was inspiring, funny, charming, depressing, and eye-opening for me. It was definitely a game changer for the whole show, so that is why I think Bismuth is my favorite episode of the whole show.
Everybody always tells me how great Mom was. I just don't feel like I can ever measure up to her.
You are different. That's what's so exciting. You don't have to be like Rose Quartz.
I want to talk about my favorite character from Steven Universe, which is Peridot. I like her for a lot of reasons. She's really funny and caring, and she has some of the best lines in the show, like calling Yellow Diamond a clod.
What do you know about the Earth?
Apparently more than you clod!
I relate to Peridot in a lot of ways. She kind of feels different and like outcasted from society because she doesn't have the same powers as a normal gem would, like shape-shifting. But when she discovers that she still has powers unique to her, it's really uplifting, and it really helped me with my own struggles.
For me, personally, Mr. Greg is one of, if not my favorite Steven Universe episodes. It has such a fantastic plot, and it's so moving, but the music in it is just phenomenal. It's Over, Isn't It is possibly my favorite, or at least one of my favorite Steven Universe songs. And I found myself crying to the song many times because I feel like a lot of us have been in a situation similar to Pearl, obviously not to that extent. And finally getting an episode where Pearl and Greg, work out their differences, it's phenomenal. Words cannot describe how much that episode means to me and to the rest of the community. What Rebecca Sugar and the Crewniverse did, they captured lightning in a bottle, and they kept on expanding on that bottle for years to come. And now that, tomorrow's the final episode of Future, I'm filming this the night before, it's incredible that we've come this far.
I would have to say that my absolute favorite character in the show would definitely be Garnet. The way she brings about representation and just her character and her arc. She's the funniest, she's the most interesting, she has the most interesting backstory.
I love the idea of this Afrofuturistic character being made of like the world's cutest couple and being an amalgamation of love because square mom is mom squared and mom squared is best mom.
Speaking of moms, Mom, favorite character and why? Go.
Spinelli, after Steven, of course, but because, you know, she was stranded and depressed for so many centuries and eons, and broken children like her I identify like with the other chick from Adventure Time whose daddy ate her fry.
My favorite character is Steven because, in my opinion, he is the most developed character. He is optimistic, caring, loving, empathetic, and he always puts other people and their feelings first, even if some of his own are traumatic.
Got room for 3 more?
Always.
I wanted to talk about my favorite episode, which is Same Old World from Season 3. I love fantasy worlds, and I love when a story tries to draw me into its world and try to make it appealing. And Steven Universe does do this to a very large extent with all its gem lore and stuff like that, but Same Old World does something different. While many stories give a sense of beauty to their own fantasy worlds, this episode made me appreciate the beauty of Earth. When Steven gave Lapis a tour of Earth, I was captivated by the gorgeous landscapes and the really relaxing background music. Whenever I'm feeling stressed, I like to watch this episode because the atmosphere of it just calms me.
I want to stay here.
Here? Like, here?
Yeah, here.
Connie, I think, is kind of a thankless role when compared to the rest of the main cast. She's a very grounded personality compared to everyone else. Almost more than anyone else, I think, is Steven's most effective individual support system, because for a long time, she's his only equal in the show. And it's highlighted in Change Your Mind and I Am My Monster that when other people physically or emotionally are just incapable of being on his level and carrying him, literally and figuratively, she can do that the way that he carries everyone else. She can be that person.
So, I want to talk about Lion 3 Strike to Video and how, as an episode, it kind of explores our relationship with the past. I find that Lion Strike to Video really explores this idea of when we look to the past, we have all these messages and overflowing of personality and people and their perspective. Like with the internet, we have so much information, and that's kind of how I felt with interacting with the past, is that it's also like itself another vast sea of perspective that we get to draw on. We're all in a way like leaving these little messages for each other for future, like I am with this clip for my nephew, as well as for my family members and friends.
Hi, my name is Maddie.
I'm Bella.
I'm 14.
I'm 10.
We're here to talk about Steven Universe. Okay, my favorite episode has to be Rose's Scabbard, because it really shows like Pearl's devotion to Rose and how like she can never really forget what Rose has done for her. And you know that she just couldn't accept that Rose would keep any secrets from her, but she does, thanks to Steven.
Mine is probably Kindergarten Kid, because it's like nothing's perfect and Peridot is adorable and Steven throws marshmallows at her and gives her a whole like little lesson, you know.
Yeah, like, oh, you gotta think like the gem monster we're chasing.
Yeah.
Happy trails!
So where did it go?
Home.
My favorite episode would have to be A Single Pale Rose. In terms of execution of a twist or like a plot-driven episode, it is as perfect as you can get. In this episode, we not only see a little bit of Pearl's mental psyche, but then we see more. We see how certain moments in her life has kind of broken her mentally. The war, the diamonds completely obliterating all the gems and corrupting them, and her being the only one left with Rose and Garnet. We then learn that Pearl took the form of Rose Quartz. And then you start thinking, wait a minute, Pink Diamond's still alive, where's Pink Diamond? And that's when we give her answer. Rose Quartz is Pink Diamond, and oh my god. It really was the episode that made me rethink everything I thought I knew before. that twist gave me another reason to go all the way back, rewatch the show, only to realize, holy crap, it was right in front of us the whole time. It encapsulates what this entire series was about. Imperfect people making imperfect choices in the name of good or bad. And that was the reason why A Single Pale Rose is my favorite episode. Man, I did so much rambling.
I wanted to tell you for so long. Mom was Pink Diamond.
What?
Hello, my name is Nate King, and yeah, I'm kind of a Steven Universe nerd. I am 18 now, so I've kind of grown up with Steven through a large part of my life. It's kind of crazy to think that it's all going to be ending. The show has helped me discover so much about myself, especially Steven Universe future. It's somewhat comforting to see Steven go through the same stuff I did. It makes you feel less alone. In general, this show just makes you feel good. And I think especially now when it feels like the entire world is crashing down around us, I think it's nice to have something that gives you hope, something that inspires you.
Steven Universe was one of the first modern cartoons that I remember watching from the very beginning, and it really inspired me to get into the aspect of storytelling and cartoons and animation, as well as explore my own art style with drawing, and it really helped me find out what I want to do with my art, what direction I really want to go with, and just exploring characters.
Steven Universe is a show that I grew up with it, and it's the first show that I truly love, and who introduced me to what I want to be in the future. Write my histories, make my drawings, and build my own universe and share with all of you.
I've always considered myself an artist. However, there were times that I wouldn't identify as an artist, and that would make me really sad because art is my passion. These times would happen if I focused way too much on what everybody else was doing that I wouldn't see anything else I would do. But then, one day, when I was in this kind of mood, I decided to watch an episode of Steven Universe. And let me say, I really liked the art there. And since I liked the art style of the show, I decided to give drawing in the style a shot. And that actually helped me move on from the artistic rut that I was feeling.
In the summer of 2014, my grandmother died. This was one of many deaths we had had in the family during this time, but I've been closest to this grandmother. A few months later, when Rose's Scabbard premiered, something clicked. Something about seeing Pearl cry over her loss of Rose hit home with me in ways I didn't understand at the time. To me, Pearl was feeling emotions that I was feeling at that moment over the loss of my grandmother. I didn't even know I was crying until somebody told me. I think this was the moment I realized I wanted to write.
Well, I think you're pretty great.
Steven Universe has really meant a lot to me as a show. Watching all the behind the scenes of say the voice acting or the art books, it really gave me a good idea of the animation process, working in a studio like Cartoon Network. And it really gave me insight into a profession that I would like to, have one day.
It gave me creative drive in my art and storytelling. It made me want to explore more themes and ideas.
Now I want to be an animator too. And I just thank you for Steven Universe in the system because it changed a lot of people's lives, including me.
Rebecca Sugar, I want to let you know that you're my inspiration because I've been wanting to create my own content for a while, and just hearing about how you made Steven Universe and how you're involved with all the designs, the songwriting, and all that, it's something that I've always wanted to do, and I didn't know if that kind of thing was possible, but just seeing that you've done it with this amazing show just gave me more confidence and encouraged me to try. So thank you so much.
If pearls are really like you say they are, then Pearl isn't common at all. She trained herself to fight. She learned how to build things. That's amazing.
The reason why, like many others, I love this show so much is because it's, firstly it's because it's, directed and created by a woman, which is the first. As someone who's like always been an inspiring animator, cartoonist, Rebecca Sugar is someone I deeply look up to, and it's just a show that discusses such real and honest topics and feelings and emotions and things that anybody can struggle with, whether you're 6 or 60. The way it talks about, you know, your sexuality and gender is just so like, feels so safe and like it's okay, and helps me like understand myself more in those terms in ways that I never thought I could.
From my own understanding, Steven Universe was not just a show for kids. It is a show that is well suited at any age, childhood, teenage, and even adult life. This show had a great impact on me and my personality. This helped me a lot about leveling up my self-esteem.
Steven Universe has impacted me because Amethyst has taught me to self-worth and to accept my body. Pearls helped me to learn to move on from past mistakes or just the past in general.
Steven Universe taught me a lot of things, like how to be myself, because I was always scared to be myself in front of people. I thought I wouldn't be liked. But Steven Universe taught me how to be myself. It taught me that not everybody's perfect, and that sometimes you just need to be yourself. And Steven Universe brought me a lot of confidence, and I was able to stand up for myself. I was able to be myself.
Well, at the very beginning of my life, I didn't have a lot of confidence in myself. I was always alone. I never really talked to people, and then, you know, Steven Universe just kind of taught me like, hey, embrace who you are and be you. Be whoever you want.
Are you back together? Are you?
Yeah, I'm me. I've always been me.
It taught me lessons that I never thought any show on Cartoon Network or any cartoon show of any kind would teach me. The power to change, the importance of acceptance, self-love, and that love can come in all shapes and sizes, and that's what I believe is the central theme of the show, is just love, that it can really have such a deep meaning on everything.
It encourages all forms of healthy love, and it has brought many previously underrepresented groups to exposure. This isn't just an ordinary, profit-focused show. Everyone involved in making Steven Universe is invested in spreading the message of love.
It's helped me through tough times. It's taught me a lot of valuable life lessons, you know. The show's very important to me. It's taught me valuable life lessons, so that you should accept everybody. You can change yourself, you know, give everybody a chance. Everybody can change, no matter how bad they are.
Steven Universe is the one show that has stuck with me the most within the past 7 years, and in many respects it feels like the show itself has been growing up with me. One of my all-time favorite moments from the show has to be Steven's confrontation with White Diamond in Change Your Mind. This scene did an excellent job at portraying how truly frightening it is to constantly doubt yourself about everything. All of the stuff White tells Steven was stuff I had to deal with in my head all the time. For way too long, I've let so many different opinions into my head in a vain attempt to be right or perfect about something, because I didn't think I knew any better. If there's one thing I can take away from Steven's beautiful declaration of self-love, it's that in your most uncertain times, when the world seems bent on tearing you apart, there's always a chance for you to put yourself back together and remind yourself of who you are.
If you're not pink, then who are you?
If you just let everyone be whoever they are, maybe you could let yourself be whoever you are too.
Steven Universe ran through my formative years. Like exactly. The series started when I was 12 and I'm 19 right now. When I was 12, Steven was 12, Steven's about to be 19, and I'm 19. It's such a huge coincidence. It's if someone watched me becoming a teenager and then went back in time and then wrote the show for me. When you're a kid, you feel a certain way, but you don't know if there's like a word for it. You felt that way your whole life. Basically, I didn't know there was a word for aromantic until I did know, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm that. Just like Going through high school, it was like everyone else was dating people. I didn't know why I didn't want to. I felt weird about it. So, as corny as it is, thanks to Steven Universe for helping me realize that I am a romantic.
It's made me feel seen. I started watching it at a time that I was still exploring my newfound self after I realized that I was bi. I was exploring myself. I was exploring all of these different stories and types of media that have LGBT representation in it. Steven Universe has shown so much.
As a young bisexual boy who was still struggling with his thoughts and confused about his feelings, I couldn't help but relate, seeing so much positive representation. The series hitting so close to home with me and coming at such a at the lowest point in my life, felt like Steven Universe's own way of telling me that everything is going to be okay, that everything will be okay in the end. And it was thanks to such an experience that I started therapy for myself, and it's one of the best decisions I have ever made.
Steven Universe has changed my life in so many ways. It allowed me, as a queer woman, to be proud of who I am. It's a pretty LGBTQ plus friendly show, and it portrays queer characters in a positive way. I never felt a sense of really belonging anywhere in my life ever. I always felt like the underdog or the outsider, and this show helped me find my community, and I made so many friends through this show.
It's really helped me because when I'm around that time, I was kind of struggling with my sexuality for being bisexual. Being able to see queer characters on Cartoon Network, it meant a lot to me.
I remember when Jailbreak came out, and it was revealed that Garnet is a fusion between Ruby and Sapphire. I was very young, and I was like, oh, because I'm in a very LGBT friendly environment, but it was very refreshing to see, oh, it's okay to be different. It's okay to be these things. I think it definitely helped me and a lot of people come out.
It helps people feel better about themselves. Helped me feel like I could be me without having to explain why. It helped me figure out that I'm pan, that I'm polyamorous. And seeing that in the show, with Fluorite being polyamorous, really hit me. It hit me in a good way.
Fluorite, how many gems are you now?
6. Maybe more if we meet the right gem.
The fact that Peridot, everyone that worked on that character to make her who she is, I thank you so much. Seeing that representation really makes me feel better about myself. I have Asperger's. Peridot doesn't probably have exactly that, but I know she's supposed to represent autism to a certain degree. And the way she acts, her mannerisms, it all reminds me of me.
I will always have certain traits, certain ways of acting that are uncommon. Things like looking at the eyes or shaking hands have always been really difficult to me, and a lot of people, mostly my family, have always told me to change or to get rid of things like that, and it have always hurt me. Steven Universe gives me the message of I don't care how you are, how you act, what you do. I want you to be you. I want you to be happy being you.
I generally just don't know where I'd be without this show. Who I'd be without this show. This is just hard to talk. It's I've always had a hard time talking. It's communicating. I'm as good as I am right now, like because of the show.
I
really didn't like Pearl. I just saw too much of myself in her. This is too real. I don't like it. But watching Pearl realize that Rose kept secrets even from her, and watching Pearl break down like that, I don't know, there was a point where it clicked with me, where I feel like I really understood more about myself. Truths about myself that I had repressed for years. I didn't want to admit that I was probably neurodivergent, because I don't know, it felt like something to be ashamed about. And that's really the big thing about Steven Universe. It's that it made me realize how closed off I was, how closed-minded I was, and I consider myself pretty open-minded.
Is he okay? What's going on?
I don't know. I don't understand your human relationships.
Playing Pearl has been such a blessing in so many ways. I got to live one of my dreams, to voice a cartoon, and then have her sing on top of all of that. It doesn't get any better than that. So that, and also I got to enjoy the show with my kids. There have been a couple of projects that I've done in my career where I couldn't necessarily share the show with my kids because it just wasn't age appropriate. But Steven Universe is such a beautiful show about love for everyone. And I just think that the show is unlike any cartoon that I've ever known growing up. And I've never watched a show that has made me feel all of the emotions, all of the emotions. And then to have been able to share my love for the show with so many people across the universe, across this world, has been so wonderful. I feel so blessed that I got to play a small part in this show that has impacted the lives of so many people. And one of the things that I love, one of the other things, the many things that I love about the show is that it's so inclusive. There's a little bit of everybody in that show. I can't be more grateful to Rebecca Sugar and the Crewniverse for choosing me to play Pearl. It has been truly a wonderful blessing in my life in so many ways, and I'm just so grateful. And I'm so grateful that I was able to meet so many fans and still meet so many fans of the show and know that this show has touched so many lives in a beautiful and positive way. And I hope and pray that it continues to do that for generations to come. I thank you so much for believing in Steven, and always, always, always believe in love and believe in you.
Your mother's pearls never had the whole picture. Now I get to understand everything. Now they finally get to have each other.
So Steven Universe is this fun little cartoon space opera that has taught me so much about relationships and compassion and self-love and healing and growth, which is not a thing that I would have ever thought would be possible, but like, at this point, I don't think I could imagine my life without it. Really. It's been such a tremendous source of joy and comfort and insight and inspiration, and has kept me company through a very tumultuous period in my own life.
Steven Universe helped me hold myself together and better understand my life story. Steven Universe is a show that's pinker, queerer, girlier than anything I had been able to watch while growing up with my family or living with my ex-wife. The show was able to help me reawaken an old love of gemstones I'd long repressed. That had been part of the toxicity of my family that I'd grown up in. The show helped me see how toxic everything in my past had been through the relationships it depicts. I was able to see my ex-wife in Jasper. I was able to recognize my family in the Diamonds. And then I learned to stabilize my relationship with myself the way that Garnet and Stevani had. The show helped me connect to the parts of myself I'd repressed and forgotten about. And because I was able to recognize what I liked in the show, I came to understand my own gender a lot better than I had before. I identify as non-binary now, and as time's gone on, I can say that the show helped me become a fuller, truer version of myself.
Steven Universe means the world to me. It's the cartoon that's made me cry more than any other. It's funny and emotional and has great LGBT representation. It's just really motivated me to work on my own art and animation, and really made me feel a lot better about who I am as a person, and I owe it so much.
Steven has taught us so many lessons. He's taught me to always lead with love and to fight for love. And Rebecca's taught that as well, to fight for what you believe in and what can make the world a better place. To fight for the freedom to be who you are. Another thing about Steven is that he values his friendships so much. It's important to see a family and friendship of all different kinds, and how Steven, just by reaching out and being kind and open and loving, creates this family of all different kinds of people.
Me and my brother have watched this show together. It's definitely brought us close together. We've got inside jokes. Just really, it's shown me a whole different side, and it's really helped my view of the world come into fruition.
There's no such thing as happily ever after. I'll always have more work to do.
So the first time that I have watched Steven Universe was in January 15th of 2015. It was the premiere of Alone Together. At this time, I was in 7th grade. I was 13 years old, and I was going through a really difficult time. I was struggling with loneliness. I'm still struggling with loneliness, but at the time it was really bad. There was this boy that I really liked, and basically it kind of all went bad in January, and I was just really, really lonely and depressed, and they just started dancing, and I just kind of see like how much they cared about each other, how much in love they were each other, very pure and innocent love that I wanted in my life. And in the end, when they dance and then they become Stevani, that impacted me so much, because that's what I strive for. Like the fusions in the show, they show us just such deep connections of all types of relationships, and that's what I strive for. And through Steven and Connie's relationship, it gives me hope that maybe one day that I can eventually have what they have.
Steven, Connie, oh my gosh, look at you now. I'm a fusion.
Steven Universe has definitely impacted me more than other shows definitely have, and that's mainly due to how they handle a lot of certain issues, whether it be abusive relationships, post-traumatic stress disorder, or even just relationships in general. I kind of have gone through kind of a few myself. I lived with 4 of the roommates, and for a while I thought that, I wasn't having any issues with them. They weren't saying anything. Needless to say, things happened. I got kicked out. But, and I kept wondering myself, how the hell could this have happened? Some of the episodes in future showed that Steven was doing a lot of bad things that he necessarily didn't have any control over or necessarily wanted to do by himself, but it just kind of ended up happening. And so, after the episode Volleyball, where he, had an outburst that caused, a few of his friends to fear him, it kind of got me thinking, could there have been a situation where I did the same thing? And, through self-reflection, I found that, there was a lot of things I did over the course of my time with my roommates that were not okay, and not just with my roommates, but with other people as well. I definitely was not a person that I felt proud of. I went through a bit of a rough patch as a human being. And so, I got myself some help. The show really did kind of help push me in a direction where, it's all right to get help. It's okay to ask for help.
I'm flawed. I have many things wrong with me. I've made mistakes. I've hurt people. I've hurt myself.
but I've learned from that, and I'm better. I understand how people feel annoyed with the idea of redemption in Steven Universe, but I never got it. People go through traumatic emotional events, and sometimes that makes them lose their way. It makes them do things that they may end up regretting. It's important to stand your ground when needed, but everyone is capable of being a good person, and I think it's good that Steven Universe embodies that idea. You can't redeem everybody, and some people just need to figure out their struggles on their own. You can't hold on to everybody either, but being open and not wanting to antagonize people says more than just fighting needlessly. Steven Universe reinforced these lessons, and I'm all the more better for it. I'm glad that I could find a show with characters going through emotional growth while I was finding myself, because it makes it that much more impactful when I'm growing right now. I'm not the same person I was before, and that's okay.
As a person that has been through mental health struggles, it's really amazing to see, a cartoon that delves right into such a taboo topic.
It's just started out as just this cute and colorful and happy, optimistic sort of show that I would watch to help raise my spirits, but it hit me on a much deeper level the longer I sat down and watched it. It really struck a chord with me and changed who I was as a person as I watched them get better, and I became better.
I found Steven Universe in early 2017, and it was one of the lowest points in my life. I was incredibly depressed, I was anxious, and I was suicidal. But as I continued to watch, the show began to tackle issues that I'd never seen a show like it addressed before, and because of that, it helped me to come to terms with myself, and it ended up becoming one of the few comforts I had during that time. Although I can't give all the credit to the show, Steven Universe did help me accept myself.
I love Steven Universe so much because it's always been there for me. Ever since I was more little than I am now, I just always had a connection with it. And whenever that thing got a little hectic, I just felt like Steven Universe was there for me.
It's been my rock through all of high school. Whenever someone or something went off the rails, was there to remind me that it wasn't all over, and that whatever happened, there were infinitely many angles to view it from, and that at least one wasn't all bad.
At the time I began watching it, I was actually going through a really rough patch in my life. The show helped me understand it better. The show helped me find out that I had my own, because to this day I still have severe anxiety, not to the point of severe panic attacks and anxiety attacks, but I still have it because it's just not as bad as it used to be when I was younger, because the show helped me find out what it was that I was having.
Yeah, I'd say the show, it somehow just connected to me and felt like I wasn't the only one who felt that way, that specific feeling, It just sort of helped me connect, and then as I connected more to Steven Universe and stuff like that, the more I've connected through friends who are fans of the show, and that's what basically got me out of my comfort box, because I wasn't that all into socializing and stuff like that.
Anche il modo in cui racconta ogni aspetto della realtà, includendo e normalizzando qualunque genere di persona, è veramente una perla rarissima e che io ho apprezzato tantissimo.
For a lot of people, opening up is hard to do, but Steven Universe wouldn't be Steven Universe if the crew, and Rebecca Sugar especially, didn't put their hearts on the table and open up to us all. The magic of Steven Universe is powerful. It's a sensation that's timeless. Thank you to everyone who made the Crewniverse, for putting a little bit of yourself into this show, for inspiring so many lives and teaching everyone that you can always make a change.
I was in junior year when it premiered, and that year, the year prior, my aunt passed away very kind of violently and suddenly. So it was a very traumatic time for my whole family, and it only exacerbated my depression, which I've struggled with since I was a child. It was very hard to get up in the morning. But Steven Universe, when it came out in late 2013, in my junior year, it was something I could look forward to every week. It probably did get through the week a lot of times, and I remember just coming home, being super excited whenever day that was. And it was so great just to laugh and to just have something that was just so happy and delightful.
The show definitely has its goofy moments, but it's also very, very insightful. It's also very, very deep. In Steven Universe Future, it's definitely, the deepness and depth have definitely been a lot more obvious. With it tackling Steven's complex PTSD, it's very real, it's very human, it's very down to earth, and the characters are very relatable, they're funny, they're sweet, they're empathetic, they learn, they grow, they have their low lows and they have their high highs. That's what makes the characters so interesting, because they all go through a roller coaster of development.
When Steven Universe Future came out, I was basically going through a similar crisis to Steven, because I realized, like, Steven is going through an existential crisis, and so am I. And I think probably the most significant thing about the series is the ending. Steven doesn't really know what's going on, what's going to happen to him. He doesn't know what his future holds, but he's hopeful. He has this support system behind him. He has people who believe in him, and Steven is going to make it through okay, and he made it through okay. He doesn't know what's going to happen, but he's hopeful, and so maybe I can do the same thing.
Me and Steven grew up with the same maturity level, starting from little baby Steven in season 1 to Steven Universe and Steven Universe Future now. I grew up dealing with really serious issues as well around the same time that Steven was struggling a lot. He taught me how to better deal and cope with what happened.
This show just is very powerful. I feel like there isn't going to be, maybe there is, but as of right now, there isn't a show like Steven Universe. There are shows that explore similar themes and have relatable characters, but Steven Universe just, you know, it has such a grasp on a lot of people, including myself.
I don't want to disappoint you, but this isn't me anymore. I need you to see me for who I am now.
This is a show that has the characters grow with you. Their development feels like your development when you witness their happiest times and their more miserable times. This was a show that tells you it's okay to feel. You are no less for having these feelings. That it is okay to be your true self, and no one should get in the way of that. You should be able to love who you love, be who you want to be, do whatever you want to do. It looked at characters like Steven and made the case that it is not normal to go through such traumatic events and have no impact on you. That makes it very different from its contemporaries. Just moments like that sprinkled throughout the series made me understand why this is so important, not just for me, but for everyone going through hardships.
Very briefly, I've suffered chronic trauma that I never really got to understand was trauma. Some of it came from my father's passing when I was a teenager and the unresolved issues that I had with him. I had terrible depression and anxiety that manifested in low self-esteem, guilt complexes, low-key identity issues. When I started watching Steven Universe, I related to Spinell's trauma more than I realized. I want to say she's part of the reason that I realized that what I had gone through was legitimate trauma. I didn't have to feel alone. I didn't have to feel terrible. It was okay to feel terrible, but it was also okay to heal. This is a show that I wish that I had a long time ago. A really long time ago. I don't want to credit a television show with, with being therapy, but like, I almost feel like it could have helped me figure out how to be healthier. I could sing the praises of Steven Universe for days, but the positive impact it had on me specifically was that it's okay to be hurt. It's okay to not feel okay. But it's also okay to seek help. It's okay to heal. And it's okay to be okay.
I think maybe Cookie Cat had run out of ways to grow on his home planet.
And even though it must have been hard, and he loved his family so much, maybe he had to leave to keep moving forward.
We're still talking about ice cream, right?
Hello, I'm Cyberspark, and I want to thank the Steven Universe Crewniverse. What a name for a show, for a team. Thank you for your hard work and your passion for Steven Universe. It is a good show. I really applaud you all for making a show that fights against the status quo. It really grew into something that is unique, and I appreciate the serious topics that you all tackle. I can tell with the fans of this show that it means a lot to them, that they can identify with, like, oh, I'm gay and that's okay because it's being normalized, or it's okay to be non-binary. These are important things, and I appreciate you all taking a very practical and healthy approach to it. Paleo, did you like it? Yeah. It's okay. It's no fanboy and chum, but it's pretty good.
Huge thank you to Rebecca and to the Crewniverse, the artists, the writers, and the voice actors. Thank you for making this amazing show, and I'm proud to be in this community.
I want to say thank you to all of the crew members, to the creator, Rebecca Sugar, to the directors, one of them being Ian Jones-Cordy, the writers, the storyboard artists, the animators, the visual effects artists, the sound designers, mixers, composers, musicians, the actors, and of course the editors. These people brought all their personal experiences to give a show that everyone can relate to.
Hello from the Ukraine. I want to say thank you to each and every voice actor. You did such an incredible job. You introduced me to voice acting and inspired me to start my own career. Today I want to say thank you. I wish you happiness and luck in your new projects. I'm sure they will be amazing.
Hey everyone, I'm Kathleen from the Philippines. I want to take this chance to thank the cast, Crewniverse, and of course Rebecca Sugar. I'll miss Steven Universe so much, but I know that the love for the show will continue in the years to come. So, thank you so much.
Okay, so for this I wanted to talk about my two favorite characters, which are Peridot and Pearl. I love both of them very, very much. One, because I think they're both really, really funny, but I think more importantly in both of them is that, as a lot of people have pointed out in the past, both of them are autistic coded. And I myself am on the autism spectrum. I have Asperger's. It's not something I used to really advertise. I wasn't really ashamed of it. It didn't feel like something I wanted to be a part of my identity. And I think both Peridot and Pearl helped show me that I can be proud of who I am, and that I am proud of who I am. I have this show to thank for that. Thank you, Peridot and Pearl. Thank you, Shelby Rabara and Dee Dee Mango Hall. Thank you, Rebecca Sugar. Thank you, Ian Jones-Cordy. Thank you, Hillary Florido. Thank you, Mickey Brewster. Thank you, Takafumi Hori. Thank you, every single person who has ever worked on this show, and for having an impact on so many people, myself included.
Hey Tooners, my name is Emily, and today I'm going to be talking about Blue Diamond and Spin Out. One of the reasons I like Blue Diamond is because of her voice actor, Lisa Hannigan. I also want to say thank you, Rebecca, for making such a revolutionary cartoon. I've been watching it ever since I was 5. I just thought it was really unique to make the characters based off of gemstones. Thank you for all the memories I've had with this show.
I want to say a huge thank you to Rebecca Sugar and the entire Crewniverse for making such a beloved cartoon. Most importantly, for making my favorite characters being Amethyst and Peridot.
Hi, I just want to give a big thank you and a huge congratulations to everybody who's worked so hard on such a unique, inspirational, and very impactful show that is named Steven Universe. I wanted to give a big thank you for giving us such a wonderful show that has made such a very long-lasting impact on the LGBTQ community, people with mental health. And I wanted to give a big thank you to the voice actors, Estelle, Dee Dee, Michaela, Zach, Grace, Tom, everyone.
I just want to say thank you for a wonderful series to everyone who was involved in Steven Universe. I've had the chance to meet most of the main cast at a couple conventions, and they were all wonderful people. I also want to say specifically to all of the storyboarders, they don't always get enough credit, but they do wonderful work. Specifically, I want to say Hillary Florido's high school promos. Those were always terrific to look at. And thank you so much for everything you've done.
Thank you so much to the whole Steven Universe crew. I really loved this show. It is sad to see it go, but I'm glad that it lasted as long as it did. My family really likes music, so I would have to say that my favorite aspect of it was the instrumentation. Thank you to the whole Crewniverse for creating this incredible show.
This is a huge thank you to Rebecca Sugar and to the cast and crew of Steven Universe for giving us this amazing series. Thank you so much for showing us and teaching us that it is okay for us to love what we love and who we love, and it's okay for us to be different. We should love ourselves for it. Thank you for teaching us about self-love. Thank you for showing us that it is okay to not be okay. We will always be family.
Hey guys, so basically I just want to thank everybody who has helped create Steven Universe, from the Crewniverse to the voice actors, the artists, musicians, and basically the community as a whole. The show has been a major part of my life and has helped me through some of the toughest times and helped me figure out who I am as a person.
Hey Rebecca, hey Crewniverse. I just want to give you all a really big thank you for creating such an amazing show. And from listening to your podcasts, it's really inspired me as a filmmaker and an artist just to see how much work you put in to creating such an amazing show and being able to tell that story. It's kind of shown me that we're all here together living on this earth and that we need to care and love for one another. And I just want to thank you for that. And I know you've changed the lives of so many other people. So I want to give you all a really big thank you. This show is amazing and it's sad that it's coming to an end, but I'm so glad that you all made this happen. So one last thank you again, and don't forget, we will always be family.
All I have to say to this is thank you, Crewniverse. You guys have made great characters that we can laugh with, cry with, relate with, be angry, sad, happy with, and just grow with. I know I've certainly grown throughout this journey. You guys have helped shape a lot of people and have helped me. It's certainly sad to see you guys go, but I know that the Crewniverse are going to move on to bigger and better things, and we are all here rooting for each and every one of you, so you guys better keep on trucking, alright?
So, I just wanted to congratulate Rebecca Sugar and the Steven Universe crew for making such a fantastic show.
I just want to give a quick thanks to the Crewniverse for making a really good follow-up series to Steven Universe, the original series and the movie. Thank you so much, Crewniverse.
I just wanted to say thank you to all the crew for all your amazing work on this amazing show. Thank you. And I wish you guys all the best of luck in all your future projects and stuff. Thank you.
Thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Grazie a tutta la Crewniverse. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rebecca, for creating this amazing TV show.
Thank you, Steven Universe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Thank all of you.
Thanks just for the great memories.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steven.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you to the Crewniverse.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything.
Thank you for Steven Universe.
Thanks for making my life happy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you, Crewniverse.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you.
You have restored a rainbow in a great world, and I cannot say thank you enough.
Just a little time. Just a little something that I need. Just a little